Hi there, students. Today I want to take some time and talk to you about the process of taking on a timed writing prompt and what that means. So first of all, a timed writing is when you're asked to write an essay that has you address a prompt using a text that you're familiar with. And on top of that, you have to do this in a limited amount of time, anywhere between 45 minutes to 1 hour. You're not necessarily required to use quotes if you don't have access to the text, but you need to be very familiar with a text in order to take this on properly. Using quotes will make your essays better. And you want to make sure if you're not using quotes that your references are highly, highly, highly specific, talking about very specific events and specific incidents in great detail. Typically, a lot of the times, what you'll see with these prompts is they'll take on some common ideas and ask you to look at certain things. So, for example, the prompts will maybe ask about transformation, or they'll ask you about how a text is structured. They'll talk to you about, the role of comedy or the role of satire, the use of settings. So, generally speaking, these prompts are going to be asking you to think about and look at particular devices that are being used by an author. The big thing when it comes to doing a timed writing prompt is you need to be budgeting your time. If you only have an hour to take on and write a full essay, you need to spend 1 to 3 minutes working the prompt. This is making sure you understand it, highlighting and circling keywords and phrases. And then you want to spend 10 to 13 minutes not writing, but planning, coming up with your thesis, coming up with an outline. Then spend 25 minutes actually doing the writing, and then 5 minutes proofreading and editing. So first, you want to work that prompt. So you look at the prompt and ask, what is it asking you to do? So look at this one. Often in literature, a literal or figurative journey is a significant factor in the development of a character or the meaning of a work. Choose a full-length work and write a well-organized essay in which you discuss the literal and/or figurative journey and how it affects characterization and theme. So here you're being pointed to, you need to be talking about a journey. It can be a literal journey, either one character traveling from one place to another, or the figurative journey, as in a character's development over the course of a novel. So this journey that the character goes on ultimately will lead you to how it affects their character, how they develop as a character, and then how this helps develop a theme. So ultimately, you're talking about a journey, developing character, and theme. So you need to hone a solid thesis. It needs to do the following. It needs to name the author and the work. It needs to directly address the question being asked. And if you can, move the statement to a larger theme. I cannot emphasize that enough. And then you want to make an outline, right? So for example, for this one, I have my journey thesis at the beginning, and then I'll talk about the literal effect on the character and the theme, a figurative effect on the character and theme, and then I'll end with a proper conclusion. So here's an example, right? This is a meets expectations thesis. In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, Rick Deckard's journey into the desert at the end of the novel demonstrates how eventually all people must come to terms with the eventual fading away and decay of all life. So I'm talking about the name of the book, the author, I talk about the character, I'm talking about their journey, where the journey is and what's happening, and how it leads to a theme. Notice one of the things that doesn't happen is that I really don't address how this journey, though, is affecting his character. If we look at a thesis that exceeds, we have In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. Rick's metaphorical journey in developing empathy towards the entities which he is forced to kill demonstrates that what is considered alive and real is ultimately decided in the mind of the individual. So right away, I'm also talking about a figurative journey, but I'm talking about how it's affecting him as a character. Dick develops this idea through the implementation of a limited third-person narrator, as well as distinct uses of imagery and figurative language. So not only am I talking about the journey, not only am I talking about his development of empathy, not only am I talking about a theme that gets developed, I end it by talking about beyond that journey, I'm going to be focusing on third-person narration and imagery. So it becomes a very complex and multi-layered thesis. An area of concern, a poor thesis would read like In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. The character of Rick goes on a metaphorical and literal journey, and this journey greatly develops the theme of empathy. It really doesn't say anything. It does mention words in the prompt, and it does talk about a idea that is a thematic idea, but empathy in and of itself is not a theme. And this would be a very disappointing and would score as an area of concern. So these are just a couple of things to keep in mind when you guys are taking on your timed writing prompt. Just remember, budget your time. 3 minutes working the prompt, 10 to 13 minutes brainstorming and planning, 25 minutes to write, and 5 minutes for proofreading. All right, thank you all so much for watching, and good luck on your first time prompt.